קולה?
לא שתיתי, יש פה צלרס.
סגור את הדלת,
איפה?
בואנה, זה היה מה זה קרוב, כוס סמק.
וואו!
רחוב נהלל! רחוב נהלל! רחוב נהלל! חמוד.
כן, אני צמוד לזה עכשיו. אני מצלם, אני אדבר איתך יותר מאוחר, אני בסדר. כן.
וואי. מחבש! מי מתקשר מחבש?
לפנות את הכביש! קדימה, לפנות את הכביש! תנו לאמבולנסים לעבור! אמבולנסים, קדם!
מה הוא עושה?
קדימה, רבותיי! לפנות, לעבור אחורה! אמבולנסים מסוכנים!
In order to stop frightening artillery and rocket barrages like the one we just saw in the clip, in the summer of 2006, Israel decided that it was time once again to go into Lebanon in force. The plan was not dissimilar from 1982. The technology, though, was much more advanced. In particular, the Israelis relied primarily upon their self-designed main battle tank, the Merkava. It's an unusual word in Hebrew. It can mean a variety of things depending on the context, but its context in the meaning of war is God's chariot. The IDF was confident that with God's chariot and superior technological ability, they would be able to crush Hezbollah. Despite the fact that in a very real sense, though they exiled the Palestinian Liberation Organization leadership in 1982, the 1982 war, in my estimation, was a failure in no small part because of the creation of Hezbollah. Here in 2006, 24 years later, the Israeli military attempted to once again finish its enemy once and for all. The results were not what the Israelis had hoped they would be.
Israel's major ground assault into Lebanon was launched on two fronts. Neither of them was an obvious choice for tanks.
The terrain in the south is ideal guerrilla country. It is hilly, it is often well covered with trees and undergrowth. It has caves, it has tunnels. It was ideal territory for people who know the ground and understand the area very well, and extremely difficult for an invader who does not know the ground as well.
The Israelis first crossed the border from the Metula settlement and advanced through this valley beneath the village of Al-Khiyam. Hezbollah guerrillas, hiding in the surrounding hills and villages, fired their anti-tank missiles at the Israeli tanks advancing below.
That incursion of tanks reached about 3.5 kilometers before that was halted by missile attack.
Hezbollah was using the latest Metis and Kornet anti-tank missiles. Manufactured in Russia, the missiles had the ability to pierce even the heavy armor of the Merkava. Hezbollah was using them with deadly effectiveness. The Lebanon war was going increasingly high-tech.
Israel developed Merkava and turned it into a symbol of Israeli military technology. It showed it off to all the armies of the world. It became a legend. And so, In response to this, Hezbollah acquired weapons with the aim of destroying the Merkava. They developed, and we developed too, and we surprised them.
Hezbollah fighters were waiting in tunnels and bunkers. To the surprise of the Israelis, they kept emerging like ghosts to strike the tanks entering Lebanese villages.
Hezbollah was waiting for the tanks, and they knew exactly how to hit them. They knew exactly where the soft spots are, and they use missiles, and we have lost several of the tanks and a lot of soldiers.
Such losses were of great concern to the Israelis. The Merkava tank was a powerful symbol of Israel's military superiority. Yet well-armed and well-trained Hezbollah guerrillas were firing at the tanks from very close range and scoring direct hits. It seemed as if the ghosts of a past war were coming back to haunt the Israelis.
The Israelis were facing another war, a war like that of '73. Its opponents had determination and modern weapons, and so the Merkava was in a situation against Hezbollah fighters similar to that of Israeli tanks against Egyptian infantry in '73.
After losing several tanks and sustaining casualties, the Israelis chose to advance via a different route. This second thrust took them through this area, called Wadi Lahjar.
It was a little, small wadi, narrow valley, that curved like a snake. The Israeli tanks got trapped in this small wadi, and many were destroyed by Hezbollah. And of course, find it very difficult to bypass or get past either the lead tanks that had been destroyed or some of the rear tanks that had been destroyed. And that left them in a very difficult situation, and they had to retreat.
Back in Israel itself, Israelis were still coming under attack from Hezbollah rockets. After 33 days of war, Israel had failed to achieve its goals of destroying Hezbollah and winning back 2 of its soldiers captured at the very beginning of the latest fighting. Hezbollah claimed victory.
المقاومة اليوم تملك أكثر من 20,000 صاروخ.
Here in Israel, the mood was somber. Serious questions were raised about the level of the army's preparedness and performance. The government set up a commission of inquiry to investigate and draw lessons from Israel's failures in its 2006 war in Lebanon. According to the Israelis, of the 370 Merkava tanks involved in the war, 49 of them had been hit by Hezbollah. God's chariot was not living up to its name or its reputation.